What's going on, guys? Support for today's program is brought to you by Manscaped, the Lawnmower 4.0 and Ultra Smooth package, and they really nailed it this time. So I was using a different trimmer a little while ago, and there was always one area I'd get caught up on and pulling on the hair and bleeding and everything, and it was driving me crazy. I could always have to like baby my way around it. But a couple months ago, I started using the Lawnmower 4.0. I've had no issues. I breezed right through that area. And there's no more cuts, no more nicks, no more bruises. So everything's going really good. Guys, as bodybuilders, we're hairy as hell, and we always got to keep everything in check. And the least you can do is keep your junk in check for the misses. So listen, go to manscaped.com and use code RBP, or go to manscaped.com/RBP and get the 20% off plus free shipping. Guys, the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped has taken off across the globe. Not only in the US, also in Canada, the UK, Australia, and many other countries. Inside the package, you'll get the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer. You guys know you got to keep your ears and nose clean. You'll also get the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver toner, Manscaped boxer briefs, and a travel bag, which I love. I think it's leather. It feels actually really good. And it's pretty big, so you can fit all your stuff in there. So listen, guys, go to manscaped.com, use code RBP, get 20% off plus free shipping. Or go to manscaped.com/RBP and get the 20% off plus free shipping. Enjoy it. I know it's going to help you guys out. It helps me. Thanks for watching, guys. What's up? What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Roman,
Roman, how much bigger did you get from last week to this week?
How many what?
How many pounds did you gain from last week to this week?
Oh, actually, I think I gained. It's always hard in pounds, but I crushed my old best. I only know kilos.
How many kilos are you?
I was 128.4. That was my best ever. And now I'm 129.2.
there you go.
Times 2.2 is 284 pounds.
Yes.
Fuck, and your fucking glutes are striated still.
Yeah. I'm doing good.
I think that's impossible for his glutes not to be striated.
But his whole body, I'm not okay. Maybe focusing too much on the glutes. His whole body is fucking striated.
Yeah,
200. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Iain, two-time champion. What's going on, man?
Not much. Feels pretty good, that one.
Did you see my breakdown?
I didn't.
You didn't? I got roasted by one of your fans.
Why? Because you had someone else winning?
Well, if you watch it, it won't sound as bad as just saying that. But I said you guys are very close, and I said you guys could go either way. And I said the show. I picked third and fourth, and fifth and sixth, pretty much all the way through. But between you guys, I was like, I don't really know what's going to happen. But it was more based on his history. And actually, it was more based on his height. I thought his height, because I know he's big. And you're big, so I thought maybe the height plus the size would overcome. So I think Steve's probably going to edge him out. But I said he's got to be on 100%.
Yeah.
So, and then you fucking showed up and just killed everybody. I think I figured out what it is with you, though. I was talking to somebody about you and the win and kind of the heat you get online sometimes. And remember, I think you said something to me once about you have a Dorian Yates effect, where it's like, people don't get it unless they see it in person.
Yeah.
You know what I think that is? I think it's density of muscle.
I think it's density of muscle, and I think skin texture doesn't convert online super, super well,
No.
And I think where, certain things like you could look at say Phil and I in a back double, okay, where people could say, Phil kills Ian on the back double, where they can look at something like, okay, his back might be a little better, my legs are significantly better, and they'll just see glute striations and hamstring separation, but they don't see the quality of the skin, where I think when you're in person, you can see and I think a really good picture that shows it is that one of us all doing front lat spreads from the back. and you can see the quality of my skin. Where when the judges are 8 feet away with those lights, that quality of the skin comes through so much different. You know?
Can I interrupt you for a second? I just want to see if I'm getting what you're saying, because I don't think people listening are going to understand 100%. When you say quality of skin, you mean the grain and conditioning that's showing through the skin. Is that what you're talking about?
Where, like, you know, on video, you can maybe see separation and detail and stuff like that, that shows, you know, like the actual like lines that are there. I think when you're in person, the dryness and the thinness, you know, like my glutes, like you can see that in that one picture, it's like literally see-through my skin, you know, like I'm completely almost see-through. And I think in certain things you can see, you know, like when like the back shots I use, because say like the lines in my glutes might not be any deeper than anybody else's, but that's just because that's as deep as it goes for me, you know?
Yeah.
But when you're 10 feet away, you can see the thinness of that skin in comparison, the thinness of the skin in my hamstrings, the thinness of the skin in my lower back, you know, the texture of the skin of my quads. Like, these are things you can see in person that I don't think convert super, super well over video. You know, and I think that's the thing. I think I have a very dry, hard texture and not necessarily super insane detail and separation. So you can get someone like Phil, for example, that has really good detail and separation, but I would be significantly drier and harder in terms of like a thinness and texture.
Yeah.
And I think that shows vastly different in person versus.
So that's a good point. I never thought of that. I guess Dorian Yates had that same quality.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about, and I think could be part of it also, is when I always use this example. When I competed against Victor Martinez in 2014, he beat me at the Toronto Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And when people looked at photos, they're like, man, you beat Victor. That's bullshit. And I was like, you guys weren't standing next to him.
Yeah.
Like the roundness of his back and his rear delts and his hamstrings. And like, you can't necessarily see that in a 2D photo.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the density and the thickness of a muscle, like the way your back pops out at the judges, is not going to show in a 2D photo. It's something you have to see in 3D, right?
No. And I think also it's like an abstractness that almost comes across in video that isn't so abstract in person. Like, say, for example, when you watch a video, you could just see, okay, Steve is structurally bigger than Iain.
Yeah.
When you're sitting 10 feet in front of it, you don't see that quite as obvious as what you see in person. Is like I said, you know, these other things of the quality and the pop and all these things that will show that you won't see looking back. Like, you know, when you lose those details like that and you just see the silhouette of, okay, Steve is bigger, you know?
So you're saying, just again, so I can clarify. So you're saying if I'm standing 50 feet away or a photo is taken from 100 feet away, I can see the structural prettiness of Steve's physique,
mm-hmm.
but it's not enough to overcome. Like there's other qualities that you can see when you're 10 feet away that you're not going to see in that.
You're 10 feet away, I think, overshine certain other things. You
That's
know?
right. Yeah.
And I think, you know, when you're really, really close, like it looks vastly different like that, right? So
what do you think it was that gave you how close were you guys in points? Was it straight first?
So in finals, I had straight first. In pre-judging, all three of us split points. So how it was in pre-judging, because it was 5 judges. So a perfect score was a 3 here, not a 5. Okay. Just for people.
Well, just explain. So they dumped the highest score and the lowest score. So we're left with 3.
Yeah, exactly. So you have 5 judges, perfect score, you know, like if it would be a 5 and then you're dumping a 1 and a 1 because that's a perfect score. And then you end up with a 3. Or in a 7-man panel at like bigger shows, you would have a perfect score as a 7, you dump a 1 and a 1, you would end up with a 5. So in pre-judging, I had a 5, Steve had a 6, and Phil had a 7. So we were really close, 1 point. So I still was winning after pre-judging, but there was 1 point between all three of us. At finals, I had a 3, and Steve and Phil actually split points. They were 7-8. So the actual scores at the end of the show, I was actually closer alone, and Steve and Phil were actually a closer battle than I was with anyone.
At finals, yeah. Did you what happened at finals to make that separation? Did you guys do something different?
I think no, nothing different. I think, you know, Tampa was the same thing. I'm just historically a little better later in the day.
No, but I mean, like, I know you didn't do anything different strategy wise, but I mean, like, your body, did it just fill out more or dry out more? Like,
I think I was significantly crisper and more detailed. Yeah.
okay.
Like I was already, I think, very, very good condition wise and enough that I was still edging them after prejudging, obviously, and the scores were indicative of that. But I think they worked us really hard in prejudging. Like, we were posing for 7, 8, 9 minutes, you know, plus you do your 60-second individual thing, plus you do the numerical call out. So, I mean, all in all, I was doing like 12, 13 minutes of posing, which is a lot, you know? And, you know, I had quite a bit of water come out. You know, I was already very dry, but like, I use almost no diuretics and don't drop water at all. You know, I keep drinking right through. So there's obviously something in there to come out. You know, so I think after they worked us really hard in prejudging and I sweat a fair amount, we didn't replace a ton of it. Like, I got some hydration back in just to, like, you know, take the edge off, but I obviously had pushed out a lot of water, and then we kept the food very, very minimal. Like, my meals were like 100 grams of rice and like 80 grams of beef. Like, they were tiny little girl meals. And I just had like 2 or 3 of those, you know, just to kind of keep things on edge and like keep me where I was, but not like push the fullness anymore. But it gave me the opportunity to kind of keep that water that had come out. And then I just came back, I relaxed. Like, the stress was zero. Like, I felt honestly no stress at the show, none. You know, I knew I looked really good. I knew it was going to take a really good version of Steve to beat me. And I knew that I was better than the week before, so that for Phil to have closed that gap that I had created in Tampa was going to be very, very difficult. You know, I know I looked really good, and I also felt no ill will whatsoever if I didn't win the show. Like, if I came back at night and I didn't win against Steve, I would feel okay that the better man won and that I brought the best I possibly could have to that stage, and that people were going to recognize that no matter what, you know. Even if Phil or Steve had won, you know, and I came second, I knew that when those pictures came out and people saw how I looked, I was going to get the respect that I deserved, just like at the Olympia, and that the placing was going to be overshined by how good I looked, and I didn't really care.
I think it did. It's good that you were thinking that way, but I think it did matter more than you realized, because I think a lot of people see Steve as in that top 6 of the Olympia.
Oh, no,
and I think by you kind of making that hurdle, and now you're in that conversation, right?
Yeah, no, so, and I don't mean in terms of, I think the gravity of the situation in terms of what it could mean for me in my career, my momentum, and beating Steve in his hometown never failed to dawn on me. I understood that it was a tall mountain to climb, and that if I did beat Steve, that this was going to be the biggest moment of my bodybuilding career thus far in terms of accomplishments. You know, I was very aware of that, but I knew I looked so good that I didn't care, you know.
You brought your
really
best.
Wanted to, like, look, I wanted that win more than anything. Like, I'm not a religious guy, by like, anyone that knows me knows I'm like the complete opposite of that. But when we were standing there about to go on stage for finals, I was like praying to myself. I'm like, if there's ever one you give me here, like, please be this be it. You know?
When you fucking need it, you ask for it, huh?
That's right.
You finally use a fucking card, huh?
That's enough to convert you right there, eh? So
that's right, guys. See that shit? But only when in times of need you fucking become religious.
Yeah. As soon as you want the man, you say, fucking come help you a little bit.
That's a guy on his deathbed praying, like, I know I've never, like, you know.
Roman,
but, it was just one, I wanted it so bad, but I was so content with how everything had gone. Like, I'd had so much fun that weekend, man. These guys put on such a good show there in Texas. Like, you know, it was just the crowd and at prejudging was so electric, and like, there was just nothing could get me down at that point, you know. Like, I knew I looked fucking sick, and it was just, if I hadn't have won, I knew either way that the conversation online was going to be very split, and that people were going to say, Iain could have won, Iain could do this. And that was enough for me at this point, you know. And I had said this before the show, like, you know, I really want to beat Steve, and I knew what it could do for my career, but I also just want to go there and have it be a conversation that, hey, this could have gone another way, you know. And that's exactly what I did. And I was just lucky that conversation happened still after the show. I mean, there's still debate, and I think there should be. That was a very close show, but that the decision went towards my direction, not somebody else's, right?
Roman, did you get a chance to watch the show?
Yes.
Did you watch
Yeah.
the live stream or just get photos?
I watched the live stream.
What did you think? I mean, obviously you think the judges nailed all the placings. I don't want you to say anything bad about Iain while he's sitting here, but do you think all the placings were like according to what you thought they should be?
Yeah, most definitely. And when we say structure,
yeah,
because we said Kuklo is prettier than Iain.
Well, I said that from far away. That was the statement I made. Why? What's wrong with that?
I don't agree with that. I think
Okay.
that Iain had.
That's fair.
When we say structure, I think like that shoulder width, waist, and quad width thing, like an X-frame. I think Iain had this one like from the standing relaxed to the side triceps all the way. He had
I don't think that's necessarily the way I meant it though. I don't mean just shoulder to waist to thigh ratio, right? Because that's generally what you mean when you mean structure. I guess I meant.
I agree with both of you here because I agree with Roman. I think in certain like shoulder to width to waist, I think I am actually superior to Steve in some ways. And in the side shots, I think I can cinch my waist in tighter. I do have but I agree with Fouad here in that Steve, in terms of a silhouette, is very daunting.
That's not where I was going. That's part of it. But part of what I was saying is just the way Steve's muscle insertions are.
Yeah.
Like everything sinks in the way you
it fits right.
Everything fits the way a physique should, right? Like the lats sink all the way into the hip. The shoulders are nice and round. There's a split in the chest. It's like the chest is blocked off like a square. Like everything is very, very well fit and finish, right? So whereas Iain is more of like a rugged, it's just thick as fuck. It's not necessarily like perfectly fit together.
Yeah.
But he destroys people that way. So that's kind of the way I meant it. I didn't necessarily mean it in like silhouette, because silhouette wise, I think Roman, you're right. They both have wide shoulders, small waist, good flaring quads. But I think I meant more.
And that's what makes Steve so hard to beat. I mean, and when I look at the show, it's like he has one of those physiques where you look at and you're like, I can't really pick out anything wrong with Steve's physique.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like
when Steve stands there, that's one of his best poses.
Yeah, just standing there. I mean,
because structurally, he stands
humongous in person, and his chest is good, his shoulders are good, his arms is good, his back is good, his legs are good, his calves are outrageous. Like, there's not really anything you can pick that's like bad. Like I could be like, okay, my legs are probably the best by far, but then, okay, my chest is a little shallow on my front shots. Okay, my triceps don't indent as good. My calves are definitely not as
we
big.
know all your weaknesses, Iain. You don't have to go through them.
I just want to tell everyone. Okay? If I say it first, they can't say it after me.
Exactly. No, but you guys are gonna roast me for fucking saying this, but Steve's physique reminds me of mine only in one sense. Not as I was ever that big, but he doesn't have.
That you're 10?
We're both 10, yeah. No, in a sense that nothing. It's like this. When I think of like Ben Pekulski, right? You think of shoulders and you think of legs. There's like these glaring, like, whoa, like holy fuck, right? And when you look at Steve, it's like Iain said, there's nothing that jumps out at you like a crazy body part, and there's nothing that's weak. Yeah. And that's kind of always how I looked at my
physique is similar in that aspect to like someone like Brayon, and why Brayon was so good. Like when you look at Brayon, obviously structurally, like Brayon's a small guy, not a big guy like Steve. But when you look at his physique, you can't really say anything is exceptional other than maybe his back double, but anything is like insane, and anything is bad. It's like you look at it and you're like, what is wrong with this? Nothing really. And that's why he was so difficult to beat and so dominant the first couple of years, because it really took someone that was just physically significantly more dominant than him, just a better, bigger structure, because from a muscularity standpoint and a structure standpoint, everything is just like an 8.5 out of 10, just like, awesome,
Roman, where does the best Roman place in that lineup?
maybe sixth.
I knew you were gonna say that. You know what? You're the last person I should ask, because you're gonna shit all over yourself every time I ask you. Speaking of Brayon, that Robert Timms guy, Mr. Classic Physique, the guy who won the
he was impressive as a motherfucker.
I'm like, the first thing I thought of was, I gotta ask Iain about Chris, because every time,
look,
wait a minute, every time I ask you about Chris on this show, you say, there's nobody there. He's hands down above everybody, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always with you. But now I'm like, wait a minute.
Anyone who was there and who saw me see this guy will know that when I saw this guy, I was like, we got our hands full with this. Because I mean, there's like, look, and he's also kind of different here because there's things you can pick that aren't like his quads, not nearly as good as Chris's, but it works. That's the awesome thing with it. Like his quads aren't super wide and flaring, but then I try and picture him with like big quads, and I'm like, it doesn't look good, you know?
I know.
Like his lines are so slick. Like his fucking midsection is like razor sharp. He's challenging Chris in terms of how good looking he is, you know? He's just everything.
Well, I mean, some people might say he's better looking.
Hey man, you can make that case for sure. He's extremely handsome, you know, and his physique just fucking flows.
How much does the handsomeness matter on stage, do you think, Roman? Do you think how handsome a guy matters in classic, not in bodybuilding? Nobody cares. Bodybuilders are ugly, but in classic.
You come up with like a warthog face on that top 5 at the classic, you're going to stand out, man, because those guys are all fucking handsome, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it even matters in the open.
I do too.
Is that why Iain better looking than Steve? Is that why he won?
No, I don't think so. That's close.
They're pretty equal in that one.
Yeah, they are. That's why it was such a close show. We're so equally good looking, you know.
Who's the best looking open bodybuilder?
Ooh,
it was like before. It was like Frank McGrath and Evan and shit.
I don't know. Steve Kuklow's a fucking good looking chap.
He's good looking, man. Yeah, like
is he the best?
How big he is in person, like that.
The height too.
The height that he's just like a manly man, you know, like he's just like Texas bred, like manly man. It's hard not to like Steve, you know, like.
I feel like we should all start holding hands with this conversation.
Roman, is there a better looking open bodybuilder than Steve?
Yeah, I'm really trying to come up.
Wait a minute, let Roman answer. I want to know.
I'm thinking too. Nathan's got some really pretty teeth.
Nathan's got good teeth. I'll give Nathan teeth.
Nathan's got a smile that is pretty good.
Nathan's got good teeth.
Motherfucker came with the teeth comment.
All right, we'll come back to it. So in classic here, I'm going to pull up. I pulled up Robert Tim's Instagram. All right,
get a video. Don't go pictures. Find the video of him.
But even pictures. I mean, look at this, man. But I you know, what's crazy is I see what you're saying about the quads, but you're also right that it fits. It looks like it should be there.
Yeah, because like go down to the front double picture or like the one down there with his hands on his head. Yeah.
This one?
See, like his quads are not big at all.
These are older.
Let me tell you something.
Oh no, this is this photo. This is
I tanned with him. He's fucking huge.
This guy in person is fucking gigantic. He's like 247 or something.
Yeah, he's fucking big.
His back is crazy.
And he's one of these things like Kukla, where you don't really get the gravity of how big this guy is until you're 5 feet away from him.
100%.
Holy shit, this dude's huge.
Kuklo, did you tan with it? I meant, Guy, did you tan with him naked?
No, stop.
But like, go back, restart that video. Restart that. We missed that opening segment.
1 second. Well, I don't know how to. I got to close it and reopen it.
Yeah, but like, look when he walks up and like, look at this front double. Like his quads are small, but like it works so nicely.
I think his waist is so small that it just all fits.
Like, oh, it's so pretty, man. This shot, I think there's a lot of muscle. I don't love his back double. Something honestly, about it.
I think his back double is crazy, man. Look at the way
it's crazy in terms of a bodybuilding standpoint, but I think from a posing standpoint, there's something he needs to change with it. Like this is insane. Look at that waist, man. It's crazy.
I think when the average guy, not average guy, you know, okay, let me rephrase this. This is way too much muscle for the average guy. But what I'm saying is when a guy wants to become a bodybuilder, I think this is the physique they think of. He's got a big chest, big arms, big shoulders, big back. Legs aren't overly big. This
is a physique I look at and I'm like, this is like golden era bodybuilding, fucking pumped to the max, you know?
Yeah.
Like I look at that and this is the shape of physique I think of when I think of those guys. Cause like they didn't have, you know, the crazy gigantic flaring quads, but like everything fits so perfectly. His posing is nice. His conditioning is flawless. He could be a little tighter through the glutes and hams, but I mean, you're nitpicking at that point. You know?
So the question is the $1 million question is, can he beat Chris? And let me ask you a second question. A few follow-ups actually that are important. How much do you guys think, and I'll ask Guy because Guy hasn't said shit this whole time.
You haven't. I haven't had anything directed towards me.
Well, I'm directing. Well, you were in the car. Now you're home. How much do you think social media popularity, looks, attitude, all that plays into? Let's say they step on stage and points wise, physique wise, they're 100% even. Does all that shit play into Chris winning because he's got such a following and such a personality?
I don't think so, because I think Brayon was winning and before, and he's not that. And I think, there's a lot of guys that can be very good. And I think Robert also has a very good essence that a lot of people could get behind if he was the champion. So I don't think I don't think that would ever be a deciding factor. In terms to answer the question, could he beat Chris? Could he? Maybe. Will he? I don't think so. I think Chris is going to be improved. And I think Chris still has, even though I think Robert has some really great shots, I think Chris, in terms of certain X-frame and his silhouette like that, is so imposing, and I think you're also like, Chris won't be daunted by the size of Robert like some guys were at that show. You have to remember Chris is going to be similar size to that. Chris has bigger quads. Chris has, a tiny waist like this.
But Iain, you totally took Guy's question.
Well, Guy sat there silent. I thought he was waiting for me.
He was thinking.
Hey, now I feel like silence cap.
Iain, you're just a quicker thinker than the rest of us. Yeah. All right. Aside
That's my
from
answer.
I think, Guy, answer.
Can I? Okay. I'm going to disagree with Iain, and I don't know, Guy, do you agree with what Iain said or no?
I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to say my piece.
Okay. I'm saying all things even. Like, let's say they look at their physiques and they're like, fuck, these guys are dead even, right?
But that doesn't exist.
But let's just say it does. Points wise, they can't decide, right?
Sure.
That exists. I think there's a time when two guys step on stage and you just can't make a choice, right? Like, it's like they're so close. You can't.
I don't think that happens with champs, though. I think in order to take out a champ, you have to knock him the fuck out.
Agreed.
Well, this would
take him out easy.
Okay, for hypothetical reasons only. Let's say their fucking physiques are dead on.
Yeah.
I think the IFBB at the end of the day is a business.
Agreed.
And they're like, Chris is got this massive following.
Has done all this already.
He's done this all already. He's been a great representative for the sport. He's got the right attitude, the right everything. And why would we take that away when he's doing such a good job promoting our sport?
You also have to look at this from the other side, though. Chris is popular in winning and in defeat. And I think if you also shake things up, by putting someone new in there that does have a really dominant physique like Robert, and then now you have the story of Chris coming back to win his title back. You have a lot of things like this. I think you can look at it from both ways in terms of storylines and making it exciting. And I think me winning Texas was a perfect example of this, because the easy decision here would have been to have Steve win this show.
Yeah. I thought 100%. Of that when I was making my choices.
I was qualified. Yeah. Steve was absolutely good enough to win the show. Like, if he had won the show, it wouldn't have been like 90% of people would have been like, fucking politics bullshit in Texas. Fuck this, It wouldn't have been like that. People would have, a handful of people would have agreed with that decision, as they should have. It was a split decision. I would have got it, but.
Yeah. Okay.
That, right?
So I think I'm not saying they won't let Robert win. I think if he's better, they could let him win for the same reason you just said, is it'll create some hype. It'll create a rivalry story, all that. I'm just saying if they're even, I don't think they go.
I don't think it. Yeah. I mean, obviously past the hypotheticals, I do not think it will be even. I think in terms of the people out there right now, in my mind, is Robert the biggest contender? 100%. Based on that showing, I absolutely agree that he is better than Brayon. I think he's better than anybody else out there right now.
I didn't really know who that guy was until we were tanning, and I was like, this guy is
Dennis James was training him like 2 or 3 years ago. And I don't know where he's all of a sudden made more progress.
He's always been with AJ Sims, but he was.
I thought he was working with Dennis for a minute.
Maybe way back for training, but I think he's
maybe training. Yeah, maybe doing like what I was doing with John.
I could be wrong. That's kind of what I remember.
I know he's like a lifetime military guy.
Yeah.
And I know he was competing naturally until like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why. That just figures out why all of a sudden
that answers that question.
Didn't compete for 2019, 2020, and came back this year, obviously, with a little extra sauce in the vein.
Those are the guys, man, that like the Keons, like
when they wait,
they just sprinkle a little in and they grow like a fucking weed.
Yeah, I mean, and this guy didn't just grow; he got better. Like everything about his shape is better, his hardness is better. Like he didn't just get like a supersized version of himself.
Dude, I saw him. I was like, this guy might win this fucking show. And I knew Logan was doing it. And Logan, I think, is very like had a nice structure, nice physique.
Logan was good at the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And Logan, I was like, if anybody's going to take him out, it's this dude.
Logan's good, but when I saw this guy come out, I was like, there's no fucking way.
No, Logan was good, but this was the difference between a second place Olympian and a seventh place Olympian. You know,
Roman, honest opinion, do you think Robert Timms can beat Chris Bumstead? Let's take a look at. Did you watch the classic at all, or you don't really watch that when you watch the live streams?
I watched a little bit, but I don't think so.
I think the legs is the part that might throw it, but I mean, he's got him in a lot of other spots.
Yeah, and see, this is where this is where, you know, like I say, the legs look awesome with this physique, but you also have to realize that it's just like this. When people said this with Phil, like Phil should beat Iain, it's like, well, because yes, you're looking at certain areas of muscularity, and Chris is still just as good in the up top, except for the arms, but he's significantly more dominant in the legs, and that's going to show in side chest, front double, front relaxed, you know. Even through the back, you know, in the back shots and the hamstrings, Chris's hamstrings are outrageous, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The way Chris brought his back up.
See, like, look at the difference in the side of that leg.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's going to be a big difference.
The way Chris brought his back up over the last year, for the last Olympia, and with his legs.
Yeah.
The total package might just throw it off with his legs obviously being a little, you know, on the slimmer side, you know.
Yeah, but, I mean, obviously, as the champion, I mean, that's a physique that we take seriously. You know, like we don't look at that and like, fuck this guy, we're the fucking best. Like,
oh, of course.
You know, you look at that and you got to be like, okay, this guy's serious. You know, we got to be on our game this year, or there's guys that are ready to take it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is. Okay, to me, Robert has some better body parts, but the overall physique here to me is still better.
Yeah.
Chris, you forget, like Chris is very muscular too,
and
right?
it's different. You know, I still can't. It's that same shit you always say, Iain.
Chris has the je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. You can't put your finger on it, but there's something fucking about his physique
that just draws your attention. You're like, what the fuck? It looks so
gonna
sick.
be. You know what? It's good for the classic division, though. It's going to make for a lot of excitement, and I think a lot of people are going to want to see that showdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. You got now, you know, two kind of sections of guys, right? Because you have the tall guys like Chris and Robert, and then you have second place was Terrence last year, so you have Terrence and Brayon, and you know, guys like Brayon who are trying to fight to get back up to that position, not slip down from third to fourth to fifth. You know, he wants to stay relevant in that division. You got guys like Terrence who want to, you know, defend that second place and work up to the first place. You know, you got guys like Chris trying to get his 3P. Like, I mean, there's a lot of really good storylines in there. It's going to be a good show.
Are you in bed?
Huh?
You in bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how comfortable he is with this guy. He just calls.
I'm like, he's talking. I'm like, is that a fucking headboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I'm in Chris's new house in Florida, so there's people like out in the living room and kitchen. It'd be quiet in here, so I just come in here.
And there's one more thing about Chris that I noticed when we were there at the Olympia in 2018. His presentation and his posing has completely changed. He's like, when I saw him in 2018 on stage, he was like, "Yeah, I'm here. Okay, look nice. It's good to be here." But the way he posed last year, he had winner written all over him. Yeah. Even from the second he walked out until he got his trophy, everything about him said, "I've already won."
Yeah.
And that's the difference when you have a new guy come in. He is still, you know, when you get to the Olympia for the first time, you're fucking nervous.
Yeah.
I know that without even having been there, I know it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got the coming up 3-time champ who's already has all this, you know, has a program down. He's like confident. He knows he wants to win, and he has won before. That winning changes everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak to this 100%. I mean, anyone who watches how my attitude was in Tampa versus You know, I'm confident in Tampa, and I think Fouad saw that. But, you know, if you see how I was in Tampa versus how I was in Texas, how I felt on stage, my confidence, my attitude, everything was like two completely different people. And this is also one of the main reasons when people ask like why I was competing again. I mean, this is one of the biggest things for me. I'm not a guy that's like, you know, dripping with fucking swag coming onto the stage, like feeling like $1 million every show. You know, I questioned myself. I got on stage. I stumble through my posing. I'm nervous, you know, these things. And I don't, you know, necessarily show the most confident version of myself every time I get on stage. And in Texas, I 100% did that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Guy, there's so many storylines. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get to it, but you have officially retired.
Yes.
How the fuck does that feel? Actually, you know, a question I want to ask you the most. I never got to do the farewell speech.
I didn't know. I
know you didn't know, but how does it feel afterward to get to kind of walk up and say goodbye and actually get applause that way?
Honestly, what made it better was Bob Ciccarello pulled me aside after, because he saw me like walking through the hotel, and he pulled me aside. He goes, "Just so you know," he goes, "they don't do that for anybody."
No.
He goes, "Unless you're like a Mr. Olympia."
Yeah.
He goes, "So the fact that like they even did that," he was like, "should tell you who you are in this sport." And I was like, that means more than you know, bro.
Yeah, no, and
I didn't think anything of it. Like I just thought like they knew, and they kind of just. He was like, dude, he goes, they wanted to make sure that like you got your time to say what you wanted to say. He was like, because they asked me before, I'm like, listen, if you guys want me to say anything, I'm like, because Freddie and Angelica came up to me and I'm like, don't ask me, because I don't need to fucking plan or think. Like, if you guys want me to say something, I will. If not, then I'll just fucking walk off stage. Like, I don't need, and I didn't know when they were going to do it, if they wanted to do it. And ready for this, when they told me to hit my last couple poses, when all that shit was happening with the fireworks, but I didn't even see any of that until the photos. I thought somebody got that in the background.
No, I know, because the photographer, is it Walt Whitman? Yeah.
Will
Whitman. Sorry, we're not familiar with each other, but so he wrote, I saw his post, he wrote a caption that said he ran back and set that all up for you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool, and you're right, they don't do that for everybody. And actually me, Paul and James joked about it during the last Olympia, because they gave the farewell to Dexter after he retired. Remember, he walked out and he said goodbye to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And James said to me, he's like, you should do another show so they do that for you. And I was like, they're not gonna fucking do that for me. They're just gonna be like, and next up is whoever the fuck, and I'm just gonna walk off. So I thought it was really cool that, because you're right. I think the only person I know that's not a Mr. Olympia that I think I've seen them do that for is like, I think they did it for Dennis James.
And Jose Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're in the sport long enough, you maybe get that courtesy.
Either long enough or earned enough respect.
Maybe not just long enough. But
I think it's important, like to note too, like people that will leave like an impact after the sport. Like, I mean, someone like Guy has, you know, a personality and an essence and like a style to him that is extended far past the stage, right? Like he's kind of like this hardcore, like blue collar, like work hard and you can overcome shit. This is like a thing that people remember Guy for.
He ain't waiting for me to be retired to give me all these compliments. I just got very excited.
Well, we can't do it while you're competing.
These are things that people will remember. Like when you have that conversation, these kind of guys, you know, whether you talk about their bodybuilding prowess on stage, Guy will always be a guy that comes up in that conversation. Like Branch, no matter how long Branch has been off stage now, you talk about this conversation, Branch's name comes up. Yeah. Guys in that conversation. Like these is one of these things that, you know, these extend past the stage and past bodybuilding, right?
That means
so how did it feel when they did finally get you to walk out? And did you even know what you're going to say? Do you have any idea, or just ramble through some shit?
I don't play in shit when it comes to speaking.
You know what though? I felt like when I listened to it,
I never do. Never have. Not one speech, not one wedding, not like one best man speech at wedding. Nothing.
Okay, listen to me for a second. When I listened to it, I'm like, that was off the top of his head. I kind of knew, right? But don't you think that's one speech that you might want to plan?
No.
I think I would. I think if I ever got to do that,
I'm going to tell you why. Because if you plan a speech, two things.
Not like a 3-minute speech, but I mean, I kind of want to know what I'm going to say, right?
No, because then if you know what you're going to say, first of all, half the time you don't even say what you plan to say.
Yeah,
that's true.
Secondly, it's not really like when I talk to people, when people go, oh, like, I like to be organic, because when you're organic and coming off the cuff from the heart, it comes off different when it's planned.
Well, that's why I didn't call you back yesterday.
Well, I mean, like I knew, like, as soon as Bob fucking said something and I turned and people were standing up, like I thought of like John, and I was like already a mess when he gave me the microphone. So I was already done before my mouth even fucking opened, you know? So it was like, I was like, this is going to, there's probably gonna be memes about this.
No, it was a good speech. I always wondered to myself, if I ever got that opportunity, I might want to plan out like a 30-second, like, you know, my thoughts,
because, you know, I afterwards, I was like, damn, I didn't mention like Aceto, but I'm like, you know what? Those guys, like I've told Chris and all those guys what they mean to me. And that was like in the moment, and like who was like really just like there at the time. And like I could have sat there and listed off 100 people that
you
have
go with what
career.
Feels right and what feels meaningful in the moment. And I think, you know, when you've had a career as long as someone like Guy, there's a million people you can thank. If you want to sit up on stage there, you know, and thank the entire world. I mean, that's one style, but I think, you know, having it just like raw in the moment with the emotions that were there, with what you're feeling and the moment you had, you know, talking about John and these things. I mean, I think that I was there and the moment was very real and very organic, and you could feel that. And I think you couldn't have done a better job. So, I mean, I think, you know, how you did it was perfect.
Roman, would you, do you want that kind of farewell? And do you know what you're going to say? You seem like the kind of guy who wouldn't give a shit. You just kind of walk off and take your number off your
Man, I would definitely start crying. And then I
during you would want the speech and you would start crying?
No, I wouldn't want the speech. But I would start crying. Okay. And then I wouldn't get a word out. Yeah. And then the whole thing would be like Guy said, a meme on Instagram.
Guy, did you
like the Michael Jordan
cry? Michael Jordan cry.
I'm gonna say this. You know what's really cool? And and Ian probably knows where I'm going. I actually messaged Melissa, and I go, "Let me tell you something." I said, I thought it was really fucking cool. I said, the amount of like bad shit you see in the sports when it comes to relationships. I go, every show that I've been at with Melissa, like how excited she gets for Ian backstage and like by his side all the time and like screaming and like. And I just messed her. I go, that's fucking awesome. I go, because you don't see that often. I go, and I just want to say, like, I was watching you backstage, like, I go, and it was awesome to see.
That's the way it should be. I mean, that's the way it should be. Yeah. Right. Like,
do you see? Go to her Instagram while you talk about this stuff.
If I watch videos back of my posing routines, the only fucking person in the audience you can hear screaming is my wife.
Yeah. I'm screaming. She's standing in front of me on the stage. I'm screaming, and she's smacking the stage. I'm like,
she was side stage and like. Yeah, I can do my call out, and then I step to the side, and she's like, do this, you fuck this up, make this better, do this, blah, blah, blah. You know,
it's like being at a boxing match.
You go to the middle photo, and scroll through that. No, top middle, and go through this.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that yesterday. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's good though, man. I think it's important to have that, and I think that's probably a big reason for your success.
Yeah,
I mean, if she wasn't there, fuck. I mean, that extra support system matters. I mean, Roman just got married. He knows.
Oh. Yeah,
especially, man. Like for me, I'm naturally
What guy?
No, nothing.
What are you moaning about? I can hear little noises.
You said he just had a funeral. Welcome to the party, bud.
Oh, he literally got married like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
No, you should hear the shit.
I'm just kidding.
You should hear the shit his wife does, man. You would be like, yeah, good idea.
I'd be a fan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like, good for you.
Yeah. No, trust me. We'll go over it. I'll fill you in. So those are the biggest stories in bodybuilding, I think.
Well,
I do want to mention really quickly before Ian says what he's going to say. I have so much respect for Phil Clahar at 47, I think he is. Man, to still look the way he looks and actually challenge.
No, he's improving. He's not just looking the way he looks. He's better. Yeah.
I mean, when he
turned pro winning the bench here in Canada, he's better than then significantly. Yeah. Too, man. Like when I was at Destination Dallas a couple of days ago and hung out with Phil and his wife, and me and Melissa sat down with his wife, and like she really told us like Phil's whole story. And if you haven't had Phil on the show, you should have him. And
I want to have him on the show, yeah.
And to talk about this guy's story, man, like it will give you so much more respect. Not that he already doesn't deserve every ounce of it, but when you hear Phil's story and like the adversity and like what he's, you know, done for bodybuilding and stuff. And, you know, how many other things Phil is very proficient at, and, you know, how good he is like from a mind.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. I want to do like a full hour with it.
Yeah. And his mindset and like his state of mind in terms of, you know, staying out of the bullshit and being a positive guy and like, you know, these things. I mean, he's honestly a one of a kind guy that I'm very happy to have the opportunity to meet this.
And I want to say something off that, because somebody actually brought his name up to me and they're like, why are you giving up if that, whatever, Phil can do it, he's still 47. And I'm like, listen, I said, I'm okay with the fact, knowing that I had to sacrifice some things to be a good bodybuilder. And one of the things I had to sacrifice is time. And the reason why I had to sacrifice time is because I wasn't somebody, and I know Fouad gets all pissed off, my fucking dryer.
What were you going to say? Why do I get pissed off?
Because I always make it about genetic comment, but if you know,
what's the comment
about genetics, where as far as I think I'm not genetically superior to a lot of guys. I think a lot of the guys are.
Why would I get upset about that?
Because I said it before you yell at me. But anyway.
Your genetics are shit.
Oh, that's what I said. I said I'm saying.
Well, you're retired now. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So my point is this: in order for me to get where I got, I had to train a certain way, because that built my foundation. And at a certain point in my career, I knew this is going to end up being the downfall of my success, because the thing that got me to where I was, it was the thing that was eventually going to tear me down the most. And that was training the way I was training. But that got me so successful. And I was talking to Aceto about it yesterday, and I go, you know what? I'm okay with that, because I know what I did in the sport and training the way I trained. It was the thing that brought me the most success. And it was the thing that ended my career the fastest. And that's why I brought on John the last 3 years. But I said, you know what? I'm okay with that.
I just want to interrupt for 1 second, because I'm in the same boat, but I want to ask one question.
Yeah.
Do you think, and I think about this all the time, because me and you have similar training styles. I don't think it's the training. I think it's genetic. I think training's part of it, but like, I don't think it matters how me or you trained. Phil Clahar being that good at 47 is not going to be that way for everybody.
No.
Like Kai Green looking as good as he looks at 46 or whatever the fuck he is. Dexter, or like, that doesn't matter.
Can you name somebody that trains very intense, like the way you, me, Branch, Dorian train or make it to their 40s? I'm not
saying you're wrong. There's probably an element of somewhere in the middle being true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think when it comes to like a Dexter or a Phil Clahar or a Kai Green, I think genetics play more of a part in how long they've lasted than just their training. Training is probably part of it, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. But when I say I don't have good genetics, obviously that is going to cross over into the gym as well, right?
Like maybe if you didn't train the way you trained, or I didn't train the way I trained, or we were a little smarter about it at certain times when we're dieting or whatever, maybe I could have made it to 42 or 43. But you know,
but would you have looked as good at 35?
See, this is a good example. I'll give you an example. So Jay Cutler is not notorious for training super heavy or super crazy. He trains with straight sets, not always to failure, just a lot of volume. And his physique changed around 39, 40, 41.
Yeah.
So Jay's a perfect example. Like, you know, Ronnie was fucking hitting his stride at 42.
Yeah.
So like I think the genetic
Sean Roden won the Olympia, 44?
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, I think the genetic part plays a role, not just in how big or round or good you look, but also how healthy your joints and tendons and all that's going to be.
And you know what I was telling Chris too. I'm like, I can still train for the injuries that I've had, very heavy. There's a lot of people that probably couldn't handle a fucking
I've seen your
what I still handle. And it's not that I want to be done bodybuilding, but when I'm pressing 150-pound dumbbells and I'm doing it every week, or I'm inclining 315, 365, and my chest just isn't growing anymore, and I'm doing it for reps, it becomes a nerve issue in your body and like a joint issue. And it just, if things aren't firing right, no matter how strong I feel up here, or even when I'm doing certain things, if my brain and nerve endings aren't firing the right way, and I can't flex or hit or rotate certain, it affects your body, because that's what we're displaying on stage. And I got to a point where I'm looking in the mirror going, you look like you're 39. Like I can see it. And I don't like that.
I want to ask you another question. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because the muscle just starts to lose
that
some of its fullness and some of its like completeness. And and your pumps in the gym aren't the same. But
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true for you, but gathering from what you say on the podcast, your eating habits probably aren't what they were like 10 years ago.
No.
But okay, so wait a minute. So now that you've said that, that makes me think, and I think about this for myself all the time because I'm so busy with work that my eating is not the way it was when I was 30 and I was full-time bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
So could you still go, and would your physique still look good, and would the muscle still have that pop if you were force feeding and nailing those 6 meals a day?
So this is what I said. I said, I'm 99.9% retired. Like, especially after what I said on stage, like I would be a fool to come back because I said, I'm not going to be like Jordan wearing the 4.5 coming back. Like, it just is not going to happen. But I said, I've never really just lived life and ate and just trained and not really was so fucking monotonous and worried about like, if it's just 8 ounces of 10, I was like, maybe me being a little more loose and just eating how I want throughout the day and like not thinking bodybuilding and just training how I want. Maybe after a year and a half, 2 years, maybe I'll actually be like, you know what? My body actually looks a lot better like this. And let's see what I could do. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, because my injuries are still there. Is there a chance? Yeah, because I'm not going to stop working out. I'm not going to stop eating healthy. I'm not going to stop living the life that I've lived. I'm just in my head, I'm like, I don't look good enough to be on stage. But if I start doing things differently, like I'm actually getting a colonoscopy done because I want to see if there's anything going on in my gut as to why I'm not fucking hungry. Like I didn't tell you guys in Tampa, I was force feeding myself so much the week of Tampa. I actually threw up in the middle of the night in my sleep and covered the fucking bed in vomit.
You've been talking about that
that's
for a
never
while.
happened to me before in my life. And it scared the fucking shit out of me. So it's like, you know, that's not fun. When you have to, when that stuff starts happening, it becomes not fun. And after I hit a certain age, being full from the time I woke up in the morning, I'd wake up for breakfast and still be full from the meal I had before I went to bed. And like, I hated living like that. So I missed that.
Like, I missed that.
Grass is
The
always
funny thing is,
No, I'm serious. I listen, it's not healthy. That's why I don't do it. But I miss being fucking full blown off season, fucking jamming in 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. Like if it wasn't for my health, I would still be doing that shit.
What were you saying, Roman?
I don't know if you remember, if you remember, Ian, but I once texted you. That was maybe 2 years ago. Man, if you wake up in the morning, are you still full from the night before?
That's when you know you're true full blown off season.
I think we've all been there.
Fuck.
Yeah, but the older I got, I don't like feeling like when I was younger, I could feel like that throughout the day and get through. Yeah. I think the older I get, it's like the old man syndrome. I'm like, I can't function. I'm like,
I know. All right. So are we missing any other big stories of the week before we go on to questions? Ian, you were going to say something earlier. I forgot it. I missed it.
I don't know if I want it.
Why?
Should I text you?
Yeah.
It's about me.
I know what he's going to say.
Say it, Roman.
No, just wait.
Okay.
I'll message you.
Did somebody message me about what's going on?
I was gonna fucking say so. So Arnold's is coming up, and Kuklo. Oh yeah, you know what? We could touch on that. So listen, do you want me to bring it up, or you want to say it?
Go for it.
All right. So this is interesting. So a girl passed away this weekend at the NPC European. I don't know her name.
At the show?
I apologize. I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was due from what I hear, and forgive me, anybody listening. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just trying to bring a little bit of light to it. So from what I heard, it was diuretic related.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I apologize. But the point I'm trying to get to is, and I don't know if this is where you were going, Ian, but Jake Wood put out a statement saying that he thinks the diuretic use is too much, and he thinks the conditioning is too much, and he thinks, I guess this girl was close to him, and people dying for this reason is not what our sport is about. And he wants to talk to the judges about possibly changing the way things are looked at on stage. And the reason the reason I'm glad you mentioned this, Ian, is I actually want to talk about this. Is there a way to change that? Because the whole premise of our sport is to look the best you can look as far as conditioning, as bone dry as you can be, and as big as you can be, and as all that. So how do we go to the judges and say, Let's mark.
I think this won't get farther than this, because I think any judge that is deep enough into bodybuilding is going to know that diuretics don't make a bodybuilder, and that, that there is people. And I mean, prime example, I mean, like, I know tons of guys like the Josh Wades or the Romans or me or guys like this that can get skinless by working for it and not.
I never use diuretics.
Exactly. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find many guys that were much harder and drier than I was this past weekend. And I used almost zero diuretics for that. And same with Tampa the week before. I could count how many tabs of total Diazide I've used on one finger in the last 5 shows. One tab of Diazide, if you add them all up together.
Yeah.
So I mean, when there's these insane protocols and people are getting hurt with these things, I think that's just bad protocols. I think that has nothing to do with conditioning, hurting people.
I think people don't pay attention to like self-health. Like, I don't think a diuretic is going to kill you. I think you being unhealthy and taking diuretics could kill you. So I think a lot of people have to pay attention and get their blood panels done and go to doctors and get EKGs and echocardiograms and get scans and ultrasounds, because we're in a sport that's unhealthy. And if you are because the day of the show is the unhealthiest day that
sorry to interrupt, but all these things aside, we can all agree on these, disagree on this, protocols, drugs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, absolutely impeccable conditioning is 100% achievable without crazy fucking leaps and bounds, whether it's excessive amounts of drugs, excessive amounts of diuretics, things like this. I mean, Doug Miller, prime example. I mean, like, you can do these things, we all know that being super, 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 super peeled might not be the best thing for you, but for how short of a duration it is, I don't think it's that bad. And I think that there's a million ways to do it very, very safely. And I think when you take people in a depleted state and you introduce way too much diuretics with way too much drugs, and then you also have people rebounding out of shows, eating crazy amounts of food and spiking their blood pressure through the roof, and you have all this cocktail whirlwind, then you're absolutely talking about a recipe for disaster. Do I think penalizing conditioning is the right move to do? 0%. And I think that the judges will know that. And I'm not worried whatsoever that this will be a move that's done. I understand for Jake that this is extremely upsetting, and to lose another bodybuilder is a travesty. I 100% agree with that. I don't know the details in terms of what exactly happened to this lady, what her protocols were, what her existing health ailments were. Okay. I don't know any of this.
1 second. I want to get 2 questions answered.
Sure.
And anybody feel free. 1, is there any way to regulate our sport? And I don't mean drugs. I mean, is there any way to regulate the way somebody looks? Because our sport is about extremes.
No.
So there's no way to do that, right? Like, there's always going to be somebody who wants to be a little sharper or a little bigger or a little true.
100% true.
Okay. The second question I want to ask, and this is probably the more important one I want to get to, is there or should there be a governing body that certifies coaches or somehow looks into what coaches are doing? Or
no, I think what should happen if they want to be on the straight and narrow is there should be some sort of clearance we should get before we do a show as far as health clearance.
Wait a minute. By the athlete?
If you want to do it the right way, then we, like anything else, make sure the athletes are healthy.
So what you're saying is, let's say I want to do Tampa. I got to go 12 weeks out. I get blood work done.
Not 12 weeks out, but sometime prior to the show.
Let's say fine. So let's say 12.
You have to submit something to who, maybe it's an IFBB doctor.
Okay, but wait a minute. I'm going to work through it. See if that makes sense. Let's say 12 weeks out or 6 weeks out. Where are you thinking?
This was fucking off the top of my head. So if you,
okay, the reason I don't think that'll work is because if it's 12 weeks out, you can do some serious fucking damage in 12 weeks by the time the show rolls around.
Yeah.
And the amount of drugs you can take is not going to matter if your blood work is good or not. The person can still load a ton of drugs and take a ton of diuretics. So that is like, I don't know.
But if a person has a healthy heart, healthy liver enzymes, healthy
but even a person with healthy
you
heart,
can affect that over 12 or 16 weeks, but you're not going to fucking you're not going to clog somebody's arteries in 12 weeks.
No,
No, but you can take way too many diuretics and possibly hurt
exactly.
yourself
If you take a bunch of potassium sparing diuretics and eat a bunch of potassium rich foods and or go hypokalemic or do
but
something
that's
cause a cardiac event.
This is why I say like
but that's the athlete's choice on who they pick.
No, but this is what I'm saying. If they want to, everything is a choice, right? But if the IFBB wants to govern things and they want to create some type of regulation, my first inclination is to think we need the coaches protocol. But then they're responsible
because the coaches aren't IFBB.
The other problem is
they're not like a subcontract of the IFBB. The only people you can mandate to do anything are people that are part of the IFBB, which would be the athletes. You can't make the coaches.
Well, they can't. They also can't do that because then the IFBB would be liable if anything happened.
100%.
They approve.
I want to know. I want to know what Roman thinks on this.
Yeah, Roman's been pretty. Sorry, Roman. Is there any way to regulate?
Roman, you just got to cut in, bro.
Yeah, man. He's too nice. Is there any way to regulate everything to make things sure these things don't happen?
No, because we're all human. Okay, there's no way to regulate anything, and like Guy said, this is a personal decision. Yeah, even if your coach might prescribe you a certain amount of diuretics, a certain amount of insulin, both of that can kill you in an instant that day. Okay, no matter how healthy you are.
Yeah,
and it is your responsibility as an adult to at least check what you're taking. What is it? What I have in my hands here, and then get possible side effects, and then decide if the possible side effect is death. Yeah, you might not want to take that, or you might want to talk to your coach about, how safe is this and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a personal decision to basically put your life at risk by taking a diuretic.
Roman, ready for this? And I'm glad he said that.
I'm ready.
Because look at the position that I was put in during a certain show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to Fouad because I called you.
Okay, well, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
And hold on. And I was like this. And I go, I was told to do A, B, and C. And and in my head, I know it's a bad fucking move.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate
right?
here.
Hold on, Fouad, right?
Wait, let me just interject here before you do this. I agree with you and everything you're saying. I think that taking personal responsibility is key, but you're also talking about 4 guys here who have pretty good extensive knowledge, that have, been in this game for a while, that have a pretty good understanding with chemicals and diuretics and all these things. We have to understand that this is not the case for a large majority of competitors. And I hate to play the gender role here, especially for top level female competitors. I know Melissa knows a lot. I know 1 bajillion times more than Melissa about drug interactions, about possible things. So as much as I 100% agree with you and you need to take ownership, when a drug says take 15 Bumex, you should say, okay, probably not. But I also know that that's not always going to be the case, and that there's going to be people that are uninformed, and that they're just going to do what their coach tells them.
But it also comes back to this. I tell people all the time when people go, "Oh yeah, you might know my coach, so and so," and I'm like, "No, who's your coach? Oh, you don't know."
But this is where I was. But this is where I was going about.
You need to also, as the athlete, make sure you do your research on the fucking coach.
Wait a minute. This kind of goes back to what I was saying. So, if we know they're just hold on a minute. This is my Italian.
You did the reverse of Italian. This
is my Italian here. So
if an NFL player wants to hire,
is this the Middle Eastern thing?
So this is what my point. So listen, this is my point, and this is
wait. So before you say this, an NFL player, an NBA player, all these, they can go hire outside coaching that doesn't need to be authorized by the NBA.
That's fine. They're not taking copious amounts of drugs. So my point is,
they are.
Well, not at our level, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is
nobody's a doctor here in this world, so it's all fucking irrelevant anyways. You're talking about the IFBB sanctioning people to write prescriptions.
No. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
write protocols for illegal drugs.
I'm not saying write protocols. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're an IFBB pro, and this is just a hypothetical, we're brainstorming, right? Like maybe we're trying to solve an issue that's happening. So would it make sense for the IFBB to say, if you're an IFBB pro, these are the number of coaches you can use? These people have been approved or certified by the IFBB.
No.
What is this, NASM?
What do you mean?
It doesn't
not like that. Well, like IFBB isn't NASM, bro. They're not giving out fucking.
You're also taking away the prerogative. What if the bodybuilder says, "Well, I want to do my own prep. I don't use a coach. I do my own prep."
Yeah.
So if I'm doing my own prep, I can now go say, okay, 1 million Bumex, 40 units of insulin every meal. Like it's impossible to reinforce, you know? So
what are you excited about?
I understand.
I want to know why guys cheering.
Because you said 15 Bunex and 40 units of insulin a meal. I was like, let's do it.
It's like, fuck, oh yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Look, I understand. But then you're taking away choice from the bodybuilder, which you cannot do. You know, this is a sticky situation and it's very, very difficult. And, you know, obviously because we dabble in so many chemical compounds, there's always going to be risks.
Is there a risk to reward?
So we just have to settle. So basically what it is as professional bodybuilders, if this is a life you choose, then you just have to, like Roman said, you have to use your fucking instincts and your research skills, and we take responsibility for our own shit. And there isn't really an answer.
One of my best friends called me. He was like, I'm so happy you retired. He's like, because after the past couple of years, he goes, you ever think like, you know, something could happen to you? Because, you know, a lot of bodybuilders and the freak things that happen. I go, you cross my mind all the fucking time.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And I was like, but you know what? I said, because he wanted me to retire years ago. And I said, the stress of me not competing when I still want to compete is probably going to kill me before anything. Because I'd rather not be stressed out and unhappy than be happy doing it is what I do. And I think that it can be done in a very healthy way or healthier ways. And it can be done in a lot more unhealthy ways as well. But that's up to the person to decide. Like when I did an interview, I said, listen, back in the 90s, there were not things that were readily available in my prime. There are things now that are readily available that weren't even around when I was at my prime that people are doing now that at 40 years old, I'm not going to fucking do because of my age and because of health things and because of choices. But that's always going to be the evolution of how the bodybuilding thing goes. And you have to know when you're entering this sport that if you're going to do it to the bodybuilding level, especially of a professional, there are a lot of unhealthy things that come with the sport. Even though working out and eating healthy, we always talk about how much of a grand scheme going to the gym is and doing cardio and eating healthy, but there's a very unhealthy balance that comes with what we do. And if you're not doing the proper things to make sure that you're okay internally, then that's shame on you. And if you're working with a coach who doesn't, if you're okay with working with a coach that doesn't have an exercise science degree or doesn't have a kinesiology degree or doesn't have a nutrition background, if you're okay with that, then that's on you. That's
not what the simple answer is here. The simple answer here for everyone, no matter the level you're at, question everything.
Yes.
Question everything.
And if they can't give you an answer, they're not a coach.
There's something you're unsure about and that makes you feel even a hint, even if it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable because of your lack of knowledge, question it. Okay. Question it, do your research, do these things. And if there's something that you read and it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable and you question your coach on it and they don't give you an answer that makes you feel comfortable, bye-bye. The end. That's it. Yeah. And this is where, look, you don't need to have a ton of knowledge. You don't need to have any knowledge. You just need to be able to take ownership for your own health and take responsibility for these things and question the things that could be potentially harmful. And in this world, when you're talking about drugs, assume everything is harmful. Everything you put into your body can be potentially harmful and question it. And if you don't feel comfortable with the answer you're given, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth doing something that could potentially be fatal to look 1% better on stage. I can absolutely fucking guarantee you that.
Bill Heath told me in 2013 when I was doing a show in North Carolina, I called him about a question I had. And he goes, if you have a potential of doing or taking something that can make you 2% better or 10% worse, it's not worth doing.
Never do it.
Never.
And this is how I think I've really come into my own in terms of bodybuilding is by the less is more mentality. And, you know, it's the don't do anything that can compromise, like you said, 1% better for the potential 10% worse. And when I eliminated all the variables that could potentially make me worse, all I ended up with was what I actually had earned and worked for, which was hard muscle and good conditioning that was there without any diuretics, without any funny tricks. And when you're left with that, it's very hard to fuck it up. You know,
like out of, I don't know about you guys, but out of all the out of all the protocols I've ever done, the one that seems to be the fucking one that like is literally the dumbest down, simplest one is like, you just follow your protocol the day before the show. You just need a little bit of dyes that you should just use a little sprinkle, maybe a quarter to a half if you need it. And that's it. It's like a little bit of dyes the day before the show. That's it. Like I see like that for all the protocols that I have done to me throughout the years. That's the one that I've used the most. And that's the one that seems to be the easiest and works the best.
Do you know why that doesn't work? Most people can't decipher, especially I'm talking about more amateur level. Most people can't decipher between fat and water.
Yes.
So you'll get a guy who's like still got 5 pounds of fat to drop, but his coach or himself have told them it's just water. Don't worry, we'll get it off.
Yeah.
And then they end up taking a fucking Lasix and a fucking Diazide, and the guy looks like complete shit on stage because now he's flattened out.
Harder
because he's flattened out and he's still fat.
Yeah.
So what I think a lot
what
of
happened? It's what happened to me.
One second. If this is what I don't think people realize, and this is what Ian's been trying to say pretty much the entire podcast. When you're actually in shape, when you're finally like 100% ready to get on stage,
you won't need anything.
There really isn't that much water. Like when I hear people, you know what I used to hear people say? I dropped 8 pounds between the night and then the morning of the show. And I'm
That's
like,
horrible.
That you fucking did something way wrong. Like,
this is the question you should answer to yourself. If you don't think that you could get on stage and be 100% confident with how you look without doing anything to it, whatever you're doing at 1 week out, and step on stage.
That's right.
If you don't think you could do that and be competitive, you're not in shape.
That's how
I know when I did Tampa last year, or New York or the Olympia or Tampa this year or Texas, my look at 1 week out would have been 99.9% just as competitive as the look I stepped on stage on.
But I will say this, and I've said this to my clients, you cannot be 100% peeled with zero diuretics.
Yes, you can.
I can agree with that.
You need at least a sprinkle of something to take that little bit of water off.
That is not true.
You might say that. I'm going to say that if somebody goes,
you're saying
I would probably say if you used a quarter of a Diazide, you probably would look better.
That's not true because if you manipulate,
I'm telling you what I think.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying to you, the truth is if you manipulate minerals properly, you don't need diuretics to be 100% ready on stage. And I've done it twice with John.
I don't think you can reach your fullest potential without a little bit of diuretics.
Those were my best looks and the two shows.
Your best looks. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you couldn't have been better.
Well, you could. I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. Anybody can be
better. Don't think you can be as a bodybuilder. I don't think you can be your all-time hardest with zero diuretics. That is I'll tell you.
You're entitled to everybody. You're entitled to your opinion, but I don't want.
And I barely take any. I'm like Ian. I take barely anything.
Guy, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't want to put that out in public because I don't think it's true for everybody.
No, I'm just telling. If anybody that knows me, I'll say it on your podcast or a million others. I don't think you can.
And that's fine. That's fine. That's your opinion. But I don't want people thinking out there thinking that they have to, because they don't. Because I won. Like I beat Michael Lockett. That's not fucking easy. The guy's fucking peeled. Like
I've won shows with zero diuretics, but
there you go.
But I know what but that doesn't mean that was my best look, and I looked my best.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but regardless, the point I was trying to make before this is what Ian is saying is 1 week out. Obviously, there's probably maybe a lack of fullness. Maybe you need to carb load a little bit. But
I'm talking about body fat and condition.
Yeah, 1 week out, you should be able to look and see all the fucking pretty much the same detail you're going to see on stage, if not 1% or 2% off.
Yes.
So these people that are taking like mass amount, it's weird too. And I see people doing like diuretic plans that are fucking a week out, or they're starting
like aldactone for a week.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you fucking doing that?
And high amounts of aldactone. Yeah. I've done aldactone 3 or 4 days out, but like 12.5. I see guys are doing like 50, 75, 100
for 5.
Roman, you're peeled all the time. Do you fucking take any diuretics for a show? Take a little something like a half or a quarter Diazide or something?
What I've done was a quarter of Lasix.
Yeah.
That was when I was here's the difference. What Guy said, he said, you cannot be your all-time hardest.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between your all-time hardest and your all-time best look.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good distinction.
Because I have looked super fucking shredded when I won my pro card, like to the point where people were saying this is actually disgusting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then, but I think I looked better, for example, at the last show that I did with Iain in 2018, where I've taken no diuretics and I was a little fuller, but also a little softer. So that was my...
Jay Cutler's a prime example of this. Yeah.
Okay.
That was a better look.
Yeah.
But I wasn't as hard as I was when I won my pro card.
You know what? That's a good way to distinguish it. Okay. So I'll give this to you, Guy. You definitely, like he said, I think you get drier, but doesn't mean you're going to be better. Because like so those 2 shows I did with, more than 2, but the shows I did with John, we didn't use diuretics, and maybe I was a little more shredded when I worked with Chad, but I was better when I worked with John and we didn't use diuretics.
Do you think if you actually found the correct balance between them both, you could have actually, obviously you got it to 100% for your physique to win a show. But I'm saying, do you think if you actually found that perfect balance between being full and just the time, whatever diuretic you use, like he said, he used Lasix. I never used it. So like, there's things that I haven't done that I'm like, maybe if I just use a little Lasix and never touch dyes, but I don't know.
That's also a cult, like that's a European thing.
Yeah,
exactly. That was what I was going to say.
No, I know a lot of guys that use Lasix in the States, and I just,
that's a country difference. I know over there, like especially in Europe, using loop diuretics in small amounts is much more common. Even bikini girls, like over here, that'll use a week's worth of aldactone. Over there, will use like 0.25 milligrams of Lasix. I know it's like.
Do you think the girls use, since you said that, do you think girls are more prone to using diuretics for higher, longer periods of time because they don't have they have higher body fats to begin with, and things can be looked at differently, a lot easier with women than they can with men? Because with guys, with water, subcutaneous or in the muscle or glycogen loading, like Fouad said, you can screw up being flat versus being fat very easy. With women, it's a lot harder because there's a lot more underneath the skin and they have a higher body fat percentage.
Yeah, and I think
the risk of women taking that, I've seen women take substantial amounts of diuretics compared to a guy. Even bikini girls, I've seen bikini girls slam aldactone for high amounts for a week.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying, guy. It makes sense because the girls don't have to be full in the muscle, so they can afford it. Yeah,
and also because of women and just their natural hormonal balance, they're going to hold a little more body fat and and water in their, especially their extremities, their hips, their glutes, their thighs, and I think a lot of them think that if they just hammer diuretics, it'll enhance that look.
Like, have you ever guys said, "Oh, the bikini chick, oh, she looks kind of flat"?
Yeah,
and they pound that, they take a ton of that, like,
Okay, so turning from that, I hope if anything came from that conversation, people listening just realize if they take a lot of diuretics, they realize that they don't have to take nearly the amount they're taking.
This is an example too. I mean, like even when I was here in Texas and I was talking to all the other guys, I talked to Martin, I talked to Phil Clahar, I talked to these guys that are achieving laser fucking sharp conditioning.
They're peeled weeks out.
Generally taking little to almost no diuretics. And that's because they're the guys that are willing to actually work for the conditioning and realize that it's generally making their physiques worse and not better.
And one more point.
Like when I talked to Martin, I took 1/8 of a dot. Like I nibbled a corner off a 37.25.
But what I'm saying is we're all saying the same thing. Fouad saying you don't need any, and all three of us are saying you might just need a little. So it's either 0 to a very little bit. That's a general consensus.
Can I make one more point just for newer guys that might be competing? The reason, one of the biggest reasons, it's not because we're all so fucking health conscious that we're like, oh, don't take diuretics, just take a core. I mean, if it worked, we would take 5. The reason is, I'm just being honest. The reason is because it's too risky. It's less risky to get peeled in shape ahead of time, like a week out, 2 weeks out, and then because if you're taking like a full diazide or something. Even if you're shredded, let's say you're shredded, you take a full diazide, it could do way more to your body than taking that 1/8 or that quarter. So we want to take as little diuretic as possible so we can gauge and measure exactly what's going to happen to our body the next day when we step on stage.
This is what I said. It's how I've really nailed my look is eliminating possible variables.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Start introducing things that are unpredictable, like lots of diuretics. the potential for your physique to get worse is generally more percentage than it is for it to get better.
The reason I brought that up though is because I know there's going to be people out there that are saying, oh, they're just lying because they don't want to say bad things.
No.
I'm telling you guys, if it fucking worked, we would take more. The reason we don't take more is because we're trying to be safer about measuring how we're going to land on stage.
Yeah.
So, but what you said, what Ian said, this is one thing that I learned. Once you put it in, you can't take it out.
Oh man.
So if you put it in little amounts,
you're on the train.
You can gauge it. But if you take a half or a whole diazide and things start to go down a rabbit hole, you can't take the diazide out because once you swallowed it. So I tell people, start with a little, and just if you need to, you might just need an eighth, and that's it.
Yep.
Anybody who
take a half, because the general consensus, everybody takes a half a diazide.
And this is all very manageable by just being in shape.
Yeah.
Just get in shape. Just get so lean that your glutes are fucking strided, your hamstrings are cut up to your glutes, and that everything is detailed without anything.
If you can't post a progress shot from the back 2 weeks out with peeled glutes and feel good about it, then there's something not right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dorian Yates, I heard Dorian Yates say a very good gauge for that in a seminar.
It's hyperextended.
He did. He really extended that finger on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He said,
I can't stop staring at robots.
Once your skin is like this, like on the back of your hand, on your whole body, like on your lower back, on your ass, on your thighs, then you're in shape.
Yeah.
If it's not like this, okay, you're not in shape.
Fat to lose.
Yeah.
There's still fat to lose. Exactly.
Right. So I got a story. He said fat on your ass. I was leaving Texas, right, in Houston. I went from Dallas to Houston, and I was staying at a hotel in Houston for another sponsor. And underneath the TV, there was a ledge that went from one side of the room all the way to the other side, and it was granite. And it was like there was like two chairs, so you could like sit and like put stuff there, eat. I was getting my bag fucking packed in the morning to leave, and I bent over to go fucking zipper the bag, and it was dark because I was like fucking half out of it because it was 4:30 in the morning. Dude, I bent over to fucking zipper my bag, and I wasn't looking. I bent over, and my ass cheek went right into the side of the fucking counter, and I have a gash on my ass about that long, and it hurt so fucking bad. I panicked. I was like, I thought I was going to have to get stitches. It hurt so fucking bad, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, holy shit. It was bleeding. I had to put a piece of paper towel in my fucking.
All this stuff always happened to you. The weirdest shit happens to you.
Oh, dude, I was in the airport. I had paper towel in my boxer briefs because the cut was bleeding.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I see your hoodie?
What hoodie?
The hood one you're wearing.
Oh,
does it say not in front of me?
Yeah.
I gotta buy one off of. I need one of those, man. That's fucking awesome.
Just send me your address. You're not gonna send it to me. I have to send you some money. Shut the fuck up.
Weren't you supposed to send me something a little while ago? I never got it. It's probably because I didn't send you the money.
You should send him some money. Buy the damn sweater.
I'll buy this. I'll buy that. I bought Ian's.
I told you what happened.
Yeah.
I bought Ian's shirt. I support my friends.
No, I don't want money from you, fucking loser. I'm gonna text you though now because you're an idiot.
What are you texting me? Oh, don't worry about it. Anyway, okay. Roman, you want to answer some questions?
Go ahead.
All right.
I'm gonna do the finger now. Every time.
You have to do the hyperextended though. It has to like be back a bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, just read your text real quick.
I did read it. Okay, this is. I don't want to answer any more important questions, but why are so many bodybuilders anti-vaccine? I'm not anti-vaccine.
I'm not. Okay. I'm not.
Answer this. I'll answer the question though. It's because bodybuilding as a whole generally falls with people that are more conservative leaning, which happens to be the side that is more anti-vaccine. It's just because of an alignment of personality types. That's all.
I don't think most logical people, bodybuilder or not, are anti-vaccine. They're just anti being forced to do something.
This is what I don't mind. Like, I've gotten flu shots. I gotten vaccines when I was a kid, like for school. My problem is this. I had COVID. I had a blood clot in my leg. One of the vaccines gave you blood clots. The other vaccine affected your heart. I would rather say, you know what? Since there's not a lot of research done on the vaccine, my parents got the vaccine. They're in their fucking mid to late 60s. Like, there's a reason they got it. Me at 39 years old, having COVID and a blood clot, and there not being enough research done, in my personal opinion, to be okay with injecting it into my body with the health issues that I've had. That's why I decide to not get it. I might get it down the fucking line. Who knows? But for right now,
yeah. But
what you're saying here, wait. What he's saying here is the premise is that you should be allowed to have that choice.
yes,
It should be, you're allowed to have that choice. And if you don't want to get it, that's great for you. If Roman decides he wants to get the 2 vaccines, they come out with a 3rd booster, they come out with a 19th booster, they come out with one just for people of specific German heritage, well, then he can get that too.
if you can cut your fucking balls off and become a woman, I can fucking say I don't want a vaccine.
Exactly.
How's that?
It's
You want to take your balls and make it
that's going to be the
God bless you. If I don't
that's
want
going to be
vaccine,
the
leave me alone.
that's going to be the title of this podcast.
yeah.
Fuck.
Guy cuts his balls off and becomes
No, if you want to cut your balls off, I'm fine with it. I don't want to take the vaccine. That's
Like,
gonna
do
be-
a
but I'm
funny
serious.
one.
We have all these gender roles and things,
All right.
people thinking sexes and this and that, and I have to be forced to take a vaccine. Like, come on.
Let's do a funny one.
Roman, who will
Okay.
place the highest at this year's O out of everyone on the podcast?
Well, since only one of them are doing it, it'd be
Roman,
Yeah,
Out of-
Ian is
we
going to
have
place the
Ian.
higher.
Ian, James, Nick.
and Nathan.
Ian, James, Nick, and Nathan.
I'm not. Don't ask me to.
I am
better
a
not even be
little
pet.
concerned about Nathan or Ian.
Nathan or Ian?
But-
Really?
but I'm
That's the way
going
you're.
with-
That's the way you're going to go?
Out of sympathy, I'm going with Ian.
Out of sympathy.
Oh shit!
sympathy.
I'll take it.
Ian's like, I don't give a fuck what it is. I'll take it as long as I
I
win.
agree unequivocally.
If you could have one song play every time you walked into the room, what would it be? Well, it depends what room I'm walking into. Are we talking about the gym? Or are we talking about like, a room with my family?
Not like your intro.
Here, Nelly, here comes the boom.
WWE match.
Yeah, you need an intro song for life.
Huh.
That's tough.
Nelly, number one.
Music for me is a big mood thing. It depends where I'm going.
Yeah, but if you had to pick like one entrance song for the rest of your life,
Yeah, but
What's
then
that song? Fuck, what's that hip hop song Phil Heath came out to that one year that was so sick?
grinding
No.
out
it
here
was,
grinding.
All I do is win, no matter
No.
what.
The other one. Fuck, which one is it?
Your singing voice is impeccable, Roman.
Yeah.
I love
I can't remember. I think it was 2017.
I think it was Out Here Grinding. I have it on my.
That's what I said.
I think so. I think it was right.
Wow, that's the first time you've ever said that on this show.
This song.
I know the song.
Roman, what would be your song? What kind of music do you listen to?
It depends on my mood,
Right.
but I.
Do you listen to Okay, stop. I'm gonna get demonetized. Roman, do you listen to like angry German rock?
No.
Like
That's what I
Rammstein?
picture. That's what
Like
I picture.
Rammstein?
Yeah, like Rammstein. Is Rammstein like actually like played in Germany, or is it like just we over
Yes.
here?
No,
It
they
is?
play it there. I've been there.
No, I just don't know if
Dude.
we think that over here, but over there they're like, yeah, they suck.
No, they play it.
Just for you, I'm gonna post a video today of me squatting when Rammstein was playing in the gym.
All right, so Rammstein is Roman's walkout
But
music.
I don't like it. No, definitely not.
What do you
is it?
listen to?
I listen to a lot of hip hop, also German rap.
German
and,
hip hop. What's that sound like?
Can you
German
post a
Hip hop
squatting
in German.
video to that? Post a squatting video to that.
I know, but when I think of the German language, I'm like, that's a really harsh rap. Like, it's,
Have you heard like French hip hop though?
Oh,
I don't think it's that bad.
French. No, French is more like Kauderwelsch. Like, would you?
Is there Italian hip hop?
I'm sure
yeah,
there is.
there is actually. I saw a thing on it on Vice.
Nice.
Yeah, well, whatever. I shouldn't have said that. People were like, "Oh, you watch his Vice, fucking liberal." I watch Tucker Carlson also, so fuck you all. I don't care. I watch everything, so nobody can say shit to me. All right, Guy, music.
You didn't even pick a song. Wait, did everybody see how nobody decided anything? And Fouad throws a question to me like all three you already picked.
Roman picked German rap.
No, he said
No,
he didn't pick anything yet. No, nobody picked anything.
Pick it right now.
I'm picking something Eminem.
Good choice.
No love. Eminem, no love.
Maybe Eminem has no apologies.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
I'm picking Eminem. Guess who's back?
Really?
No.
Can I tell you guys?
The whitest trash song of all.
Can I tell you guys a story? And I'm not trying to change the mood of the podcast. I'm just tell you guys a story because it's fucking. I thought of it the other day and it fucking made me laugh. I was at John's helping him pose for the Arnold because the one Arnold he did. He asked me to come help him with his routine because he liked the routine I did in Vancouver. So I was at his house. Me and Ken were there, and we were helping him do his routine. And we finished it all up and everything. And then I think Ken left or Ken went to bed. I can't remember. And then I went to sleep on the couch, or I was waiting for him on the couch. We were going to do my diet after, something like that. He's like, I got to do some cardio. He goes downstairs in his like Asics and his fucking warm-ups on and fucking goes downstairs. And all I hear is fucking NWA blaring from the fucking basement. And I'm like, fucking John Meadow. I'm like, what?
He's a closet hip hop guy,
dude. It was the coolest thing I ever fucking. I'm like, what that was total fucking shock. I was like,
hilarious.
Yeah, I just thought of it the other day, and I were talking about music, but it was like, it was just so fucking unexpected, right? Anyway, I'm sorry. It came to mind.
That's when you posted about about phrases he used to always say to me, "Atta baby," in the gym. Yeah. Atta baby.
Can I tell you something? So the last 2 weeks I've been training by myself on purpose in my gym because there's nobody there. So it's been like a little bit therapeutic, but
yeah,
it's really fucking strange. It's like I can hear him, and I've been doing a lot of the training stuff we did.
Yeah.
And it's like I can hear him saying 5 more, 5, like because he would say like, and it's like I can fucking hear him while I'm training. It's really crazy. It's like, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to change the mood of the podcast. I just wanted to. I thought of the music. The music thing made me fucking laugh my ass off. Anyway, okay, Guy, you didn't pick any music. I feel like it's a Metallica song for you.
Why?
I don't know where I get that from, but I feel
Unforgiven.
Is that what it is? Am I right?
That's a good song.
Unforgiven's a great song. But I don't know. Like, I get more excited training to like rap.
I listen to both. Like my playlist.
Like, I want to know what's crazy. The past fucking do you ever go like, when you're in your head, like when I'm in my head like that, I listen to like very different music. Like the past 2 weeks, I've been listening to like country, like because I've been an emotional fucking mess.
Yeah, you got to.
So I've been in the gym listening to country music, like, and I've never done that before.
Yeah.
And it's like because like the things that I'm listening more to the words now, for like meaning rather than like a beat and just nonsense.
Well, it's like Nick. Nick is like works out to like Evanescence and shit.
Yeah,
like, he likes that really calm.
Yeah,
which is like almost crazier if you think about it. Like somebody who listens to like calm music.
I have a friend that listens to Celine Dion. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Big fucking Jack. Oh, my buddy Oral. I'm like, you listen to Celine Dion when you train? He's like, yeah, I love listening to love music. I'm like,
Jordan Peters once said that he would listen to the Lion King soundtrack.
That's not crazy.
It's can you imagine walking by somebody and seeing it on their phone and shit?
And the way he lifts and then looking at the music and be like, what the fuck? Because it
depends where your mind goes. Like, even when you talk to James and like James was like, he doesn't like when he does a set, it's like a control. It's not like a, know, it's like you need to think of where your mind is and what music suits that mind state,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what my song would be. I have so many fucking favorites.
I like what fires me up the most, like training, is music that's like.
Lately, I've been on a Johnny Cash kick lately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea why. It just like it's been coming up on my fucking playlist a lot.
I sometimes do no music. Just I have my gym.
I can't. Unless there's nobody around me, I can't listen to fucking everybody's sidebar conversations and.
Yeah. That's the premise. I have my gym down in the basement, downstairs, and there's nobody there. Yeah. And then there's no music. Sometimes it's only like my breathing and weights clanging and
I like that.
when I did the ice bath again before my show, and I did it for the first time a couple months ago, and I did it for 3 minutes, but I did it with just going in the ice bath at Michael Johansson's house, and there was a lot of people around me. And Branch was there, fucking busting my balls, and I went for. You're supposed to go for 3 minutes. So when I went this time,
how can you not do 3 minutes?
That's so hard, man.
No, it's not.
If it's that cold, that's 3 minutes is tough.
No, it's not.
Literally the tub was filled with ice.
Don't be pussies.
Anyway, but I did it this time, and I was just like, I just want to do a full minute longer than I did. I wanted to go 4 minutes, and I went this time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm putting my headphones on because I want zero distractions, and I just want to look straight ahead. I don't want to hear because there's like 35 people there. I put my headphones on and went in for 4 minutes. I didn't even fucking move. So music can really change your mental fucking clarity. And really fucking like I never been zoned in my entire life the way I was for that 4 minutes in an ice bath. I like put my headphones in and went in and I was like, whew.
I want to get this thing. So this is Morozco Forge. I saw Rogan use that. I've been looking for like an ice tub.
Is that just go outside?
I used to do 10 to 15 minutes after every leg day.
Bumstead just bought a gigantic full-size chest freezer and fills it with water and ice, and it stays cold all the time.
Yeah, this thing makes its own ice and filters its own water.
Really?
Yes. So it's like
what do they run?
Well, this
10,
thing.
20?
So they have a bunch of different sizes. No. Listen. So they have a personal size that's I believe $4,000 or somewhere in there.
That's it?
Yeah, but if you want to get this is the thing. That one doesn't come with the filter. It makes its own ice, but it doesn't come with the filter. If you want to get the filtration system, so it filters the water every week, it's an extra $3,000.
How about you just fill with a hose?
Well, you can do that, but then you got to empty it yourself every week and fill up new water. You know what I mean?
The fuck.
Well, I wanted to do it for me.
Yeah, it'll go stagnant. You don't want to fill it. Yeah.
I want to fucking.
I'll put the hose on while I cut my grass.
I don't want to do anything. I just want to get in and get out.
You are a fucking lazy son of a bitch. You don't even want to turn on a motherfucking hose.
I don't want to do shit. I want it to be in my garage, just waiting for me.
Bob Weatherall has like the best one you can get of this.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 15 grand. The thing he has in his backyard.
Oh yeah, there's some really expensive one. This one altogether was like $7,000 or $8,000. So
US.
Yeah, US. Yeah. So I thought this would be good if I could, maybe swing it for Christmas or something. I don't know.
Wood looks nice too. I like the look of it. It looks cool.
Well, that's the other thing is I thought it was a nice kind of look.
Now, is it only cold? Right? It's only cold.
Yeah, this is not a hot tub. There's some that do both, but those are like 20 grand.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm considering. Oh, while I'm on this topic of blowing money, I need some advice.
What? Car?
I made lots of money in the last 2 weeks.
No, I don't need money. I could always use money. You want to give me some of your money? No. So I got rid of my truck and I bought a Cadillac.
That's a what?
Escalade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I like it, but I don't love it. I kind of miss my truck.
What do you miss? Just like the
Yeah, it's like the Cadillac. It's really fucking nice, honestly. But it's
beautiful.
Like
the new Escalades are so nice.
It's kind of cushy. Like it's almost like it makes me feel a little old manish.
Oh, it's nice though. It's fucking balling. You still have a fucking car though.
I got the Trackhawk, yeah.
Well, then what the fuck do you need a truck for? You're good.
Well, trucks are cool.
Yeah, but you got the Trackhawk for fast boy mode, and then you got this for fucking luxury boy mode. I thought about trading the Trackhawk for a TRX. That way, I have a truck that's fast as fuck. Yeah, do it.
Want to see the gash?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What the fuck? How did you back into a fucking thing?
I literally bent over, and the corner was like right here, and I just bent over real fast. And it was like somebody just stabbed me in the ass.
This podcast is hilarious. For sure. Bodybuilding and Bullies is kind of good at cut out the size of my ass.
He's still in good shape too.
Dude, he's going to cut this part out. But you just showed us.
Look at that.
You look good, though. You're still in shape. You haven't got fat yet. I saw your post the other day. I didn't figure out my car situation here. Can somebody please fucking help me?
Yes, yeah. Don't get
rid of the Jeep, because no offense to Cody, Amy, or you, Jeeps are fucking gay, and get yourself a real truck.
Okay, Jeeps are not gay. That's way fucking out of line.
You're
way out of line.
They're cool because they have a big engine, but they're not cool because they're fucking Jeeps.
Hey, I was in Houston.
It's cooler than your fucking Kia.
Listen,
fuck you. Yes, it is, obviously.
The owner of
I know it's cooler than my Kia. But it's also
Choice
3 times the price,
Botanicals,
so fuck you.
Yeah.
I thought the Trackhawk was fast, or the one that you have. My buddy has the fucking Hellcat Durango.
The
Or
Durango.
the
Oh my
Hellcat
God.
Durango. My owner of Choice Botanicals, the Kratom company, took me in his new fucking Tesla.
Oh,
That
yeah, that's
thing makes fucking my buddy's Hellcat look like. And I thought my car was fast until I drove my buddy's Hellcat, and I thought that was ridiculous.
Teslas
I
are
thought
whack.
that was ridiculous until he took me in his Tesla. That thing might be the fastest thing I've ever been.
But it doesn't feel like a car. It feels
Well,
like
it feels like a spaceship. Like he hits the
an
gas.
electric ride. It's just like
Okay,
Yeah,
wait a minute. Can I say
crazy.
something about this? So people when they buy cars, and this I've fallen victim to this too, but people when they buy cars will look at like how fast 0 to 60 time, blah blah blah, or how good is it in the corners and shit. Like
I was just saying.
I'll give no. I'm agreeing with you. It's fast as fuck. What I'm saying, I'm just trying to kind of make a broader conversation. So my brother had a Porsche 911 Turbo S.
Yeah.
And I had my Corvette Z06. And so he comes over and he drives my car and he's like, look, I know for sure my car is faster than yours. He's like, but your car is louder, it's manual, and it's more fun. And I think that's the difference with like the electric
driving
cars.
experience is everything.
Yes.
Like those Teslas are like 0 to 60 in like 2.8 seconds.
Oh, they got no character though.
Yeah, but there's no feeling. Like
There's no character.
feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
no
so
feeling.
I would take like the sound and a manual
Oh,
and like
absolutely.
yeah.
100. The only thing that I said was I thought the fucking.
Oh, I
Hellcat
agree
was
with you.
fast Until I was in that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have
That's all I said. I didn't say I
100%
liked it better. I didn't say it sounded better.
No. I agree with you. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, you have 100% torque and 100% horsepower at 0
Bro,
kilometers an hour. It's like
literally-
flipping a light switch on. It's just
Yeah.
It grips the ground like it's nothing. It just goes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
it's electric. It's on or off. It's
And
just
it's scary. It's actually scary fast.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you guys another question. So if I was going to have one car instead of two,
Yeah.
what would you get if you could only have one car?
Get yourself a TRX then.
Yes.
I would. I just watched a review though, and the guy said he's spending like $200 or $300 a week on gas
Yeah, the gas on the
because of how bad they are. It's like
yeah, but
My buddy's Hellcat.
the guy said he was getting 9 miles per gallon.
but
which,
you're gonna still have the Escalade.
oh no, I was saying
No,
if
no.
I was going to get one car,
Or if you're actually gonna have one
if I
car.
was just going to get rid of both cars and have one car.
If I was gonna get rid of both, then at that point I would get myself like a luxury SUV. You know, like one of the ones like an RSQ8 or something. You
Like
know?
an X5M or something like that.
Yeah, or like an RSQ8. You know, that's like fast as
I
balls.
feel
with
like
like
those are too. I feel like those are a little too small though. I don't like the way they look.
The RSQ8s are big, man. One of my friends has one. It's nice.
Yeah, I think Dorian might have just got one.
And like they have a fast engine in them. They have a good growl to them. They still are luxury. Like you're getting kind of the best of everything in that. That's what I would
That's okay.
get.
It's a nice car. That's a nice car.
I mean, and I'm not even saying just the RSQ8. I'm saying any like luxury,
Luxury
the BMW,
SUV.
a
Yeah.
Mercedes SUV that's a luxury with the big, twin turbo.
BMW SUVs are nice. The X's are nice.
I like the X5M a lot. Yeah.
I almost bought one of those.
Yeah. The X6 is a little smaller. The X5M
I said. I
is nice.
think I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the
Okay.
X6 smaller?
X6 is one, yeah, but it's the M versions
Smaller?
are yeah.
No, the M versions are way nicer.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what were we doing? Questions before I got us off track.
One more question. I gotta go.
Holy fuck! We've been going 2 hours. I didn't realize how much time it has. Okay.
Look at this meal. Look at this rice.
Look at the fucking the mound of rice.
Oh, did you guys hear what this motherfucker does to eat his fucking rice and pasta? Oh, God, you have to hear this.
Dude, if he blends, I don't want to hear it. It's
No, you got to hear it. So he steams his rice in the rice cooker, right? Cooks his rice in the rice cooker, right?
Okay.
Yes.
But he also tell him your beautiful recipe, Roman.
Roman, are
My
you gonna be
beautiful
one of
recipe.
these dudes that just is going to disappoint me now?
No, this is good.
He's gonna
No.
unfollow. He's gonna unfollow you now.
No, this is gonna impress you. This is good.
It's just you put rice and whatever pasta you like bow tie or something, both in the rice cooker at the same time. You and I also add
You
Bolognese
un-Italian son of a bitch.
flavor.
And he adds bolognese powder to make it like just like pasta.
Let me show you.
And then
what
and then he just cooks it all together, and then just fucking just gross.
what this one.
That's got to be.
See-
It looks delicious. Tomato.
Have you never had the
Come
Nor
on.
stuff like this?
Me?
Or-
No.
Roman, you got to come here and I got to make you real pasta and real sauce. You're never going to do that again.
Sauce. Okay. The last question. Would you ever suck a toe?
Obviously.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
I sucked Melissa's toes this morning.
Did you really?
No, but I did like 2 days ago.
I don't remember the last time I sucked a toe.
I'm not a feet guy, but if they're
Really? Are you that big a foot guy? Like 2 days ago, you sucked a toe?
Not really, but I don't know why. Since sex, I don't know if like what it is or like the last few days we've been having outrageous amounts of sex. So I was just in a toe sucking mood, you know?
Is it because you're extremely confident right now because you crushed 2 shows?
Yeah. So
I can do whatever the fuck I want. So,
let me put that pussy in a coma.
You're like, you're like, I'm the king.
I'll show you what's up, girl.
I'm the king.
it's like sometimes the feet are here and you're just like toe.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Not a toe. I can't. Think
I'm not a foot guy, but I'm not saying I'm not gonna.
Look.
If it's here,
When was the last time you sucked a toe, guy?
Within the past year.
I know your most recent.
Look, if I'm horny in the mood, if I'm horny and near Melissa, there's almost nothing I won't put in my mouth.
I agree with that.
I'm like when I'm ready to go, there's not a lot of stuff I'll say no to.
Exactly.
I go for the main body parts first.
Shocker.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't mess around with toes.
Well, yeah, but I didn't say if I was fucking balls deep while the toes was in my mouth.
Roman,
You don't know that I was fucking her with a toe in my mouth.
is it make
So
it better?
maybe I did go for the big body parts first.
I wonder if it feels better for her. Like, I wonder if she could feel you sucking on her toe if you're pounding away at her box.
I didn't know that when you pound away, your toes go numb.
No, I didn't mean it that way. You fucking asshole. I meant like if you're being like as a woman.
I
like,
think she's apathetic to it and that she could care less whether I'm doing it. It's not enjoyable or not
that's
enjoyable.
what I'm saying. Like, can you feel it? Like, does it even matter if you're being like fucking?
No, I think at that point it's just like if that's what he wants to do, put your fucking toes in my mouth. I don't give a shit, you know.
Roman, when was the last time you sucked on a toe? Your mound of rice.
My wife hates that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she doesn't like
A lot
it.
of girls don't like feet stuff. Yeah.
Does it feel weird to say my wife?
Definitely.
My wife hates that. Like they've been married for like 10 years.
Mhm.
Huh. All right.
Yeah,
so
but
Ian's a toe sucker.
I'm an anything sucker, bro. As long as it's on my wife.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're more of a toe sucker than the rest of us. It's been 2 days.
Yeah,
That's just because
I've
of
had
the
sex
question.
fucking like 12 times in the last 2 days.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of sex too, but I haven't sucked on any toes. I'm just
Well,
saying.
congratulations to you
Right.
two. The trophy's in the fucking mail.
Yeah, I know
Congrats.
you're doing okay for yourself, guys.
Yeah,
So
glad to know you guys are doing great.
Maybe you should put some toes in your mouth and you'll be a happier guy, Fouad. Come on.
I'm happy as fucking. What are you?
I said happier.
Is that the? Oh, this is.
There you go. Ready and willing right there.
Yeah, you want a fucking foot, motherfucker?
All right. Would you? Would
It's
you let
funny
it?
too that we have these conversations that we're at Tampa Pro and we're at the check-in. My mom meets Guy and she's like, I feel like I know you from watching the show. Guys
I
like,
was
don't
like-
watch that
I was
shit.
like,
No, no.
I go, don't
that's-
watch that show.
Don't watch that shit. You're not supposed to watch that.
Isn't
I
that
go,
This
don't
is a
watch
case in
that.
point. Case in point right here. You know?
Isn't that so embarrassing? We do this stuff and it feels like.
He said it's like when like women like that or like I watch your show, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh,
I got a fucking.
I'm like, I start going through like episodes in my head, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Go ahead, Roman.
Ooh.
I got a really, really fucked up story. Really.
Good.
Go ahead. Ian's got to go. After this.
We're sitting at the table eating. My phone rings, and I see Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm like, I don't know anybody in fucking Springfield, Massachusetts.
Jose.
So I answer it, put it on speaker. I was like, hey man, this is Jeff. I'm like, Jeff? Jeff who? Yeah. I'm thinking all the Jeffs I have in my head. Like, Jeff Saigo, I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. What Jeff? Yeah, this is Jeff. You're the guy with the big feet, right?
Oh, no. No. Are you the guy with the big feet?
And I said, I think you have the wrong number, man. And then I hung up. So I'm thinking, how the fuck does anyone get my number in fucking Springfield, Massachusetts? And then I think I always squat barefoot.
Oh no.
And I have posted a lot of squat videos. So this guy has somehow fallen in love with my feet, found out my number, and called me.
About your feet.
You're the guy with the big
making
feet.
fucking money, dude.
Sell some socks, bro.
Yeah. Tell him to
I'd
send
be
him some,
fucking Polaroiding the shit out of my
send him
feet.
some foot videos. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that's not gay.
I've sold
Yeah,
some
we just-
trunks for some good coin.
Yeah, you should put the title, put in the title that guy is showing his feet in this video.
Oh, then it'll get all the
Foot fetish. Foot fetish.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait a second, I'm gonna help you out.
Oh, you're gonna have that guy like this.
There you go. This guy's gonna be
Here,
fucking
Roman. Here, hold on.
now.
Hold on, Roman. Keep it out. Here.
Here, I'll join in.
Here.
Go.
Wait, get it up.
Wait.
There we go. For all you guys, jerk off to this. Here. You like that?
Bro, chat.
Bro, chat.
Rub one out to that, pal.
All right, guys.
That's a good way to end it right there.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you, boys.
Later, guys.
Thanks, man.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.